you have repeatedly just taken businesses which people wrote off. Like other people called it that it's a bad business. You should not go it. It's in debt. It's almost dying. You have taken those businesses, you have turned around them. What do you see that other people don't see?
I don't know what other people don't see. I know what I see. And to me, say when I took the power business, it was, Calcutta was reeling under 14, 15 hours of power cuts every day. As a kid, when I was growing up, we didn't have electricity for at least 13, 14 hours every day. When we went to examination halls, we were given blotting papers to absorb the sweat. Otherwise, the paper would smudge. And so to me, if you could solve this problem, there was an opportunity. So when the opportunity presented itself, I grabbed it. Little realizing that the effort required to make this change or transformation would be enormous. My father, with his experience, realized that it's a stupid move.
Okay.
And he opposed it. But my mother said, बच्चा है, करना चाह रहा है, अपनी मेहनत से कर रहा है, आपको क्या है, आप सब चीज में आपत्ति करते हैं, करने दीजिए, let him make his mistakes. And she persuaded him to allow me to go ahead with it. So the process of transformation was Herculean. And I didn't realize that within 6 months, people expected the impossible. तो 6 महीने में पार कट बंद हो जाएंगे. It doesn't happen like that. And then from you becoming a hope for a cure, you became the problem.
Because of you, power cuts are happening.
So you were not only dealing with the fundamental issue of low generation, poor distribution, poor network, poor connectivity, poor metering, you were also dealing with the social stigma of being responsible for power cuts. So it was about actually transforming the mindset of the people in the company. And once we got our act together as a business, then about altering the mindset of the city. That listen, yes, we took time. We took 3 years or 4 years. But we got there. And we are here to serve you. And then from Calcutta, we went to Noida. From Noida, we went to Bharatpur. Then from there to Kota. Then to Bikaner. Then to Chandigarh. And now with experience, it's very easy for us to do it. But the first one was difficult. So it's about introducing metering. 45 years ago, many of the connections were not metered.
Okay.
And the meters wouldn't work.
Okay.
So चोरी होती थी.
हाँ, कोई भी बीच में डाल के.
हाँ, and ये कलकत्ते में ये बहुत एक प्रचलन था कि हम इतनी चोरी कर लेते हैं तो इतनी कमाई हमारी बढ़ जाती है. So they would insert lead underneath the meter. Now the lead disoriented the reading of the meter. It just spoilt the calibration of the circuit. And therefore the reading was all haywire. So it was literally area by area, connection by connection. So we, for example, said if somebody has 10 ACs installed, and assuming you're operating an AC for 8 hours a day, so this should be your bill. Now then we started mapping. If this should be your bill is much less, then we need to investigate that supply. And 90% of such cases were pilfering. So it was about, and the same people who were pilfering saw you as a threat because you were stopping their income. वो चोरी से जो रुपए बना रहे थे, you were stopping that.
Yeah.
And therefore, they were working against you. They were working for you to fail.
Okay. And how were they working against
So
you?
they would. So it was through media. In those days, there was no social media. So they would finance campaigns against us in media. And they would do this, and they would go into the court, and then they would all kinds of things.
Okay. Arrange small little protests and
वो
negative
protest
sentiment,
and वो
unions.
they would create
lobbies.
consumer associations which were all fake. Some were genuine, but most of them were fake. And Chamber of Commerce would object and things like that. So it was not only transformation of the business, it was transformation of the mindset. And it was transformation of a culture that you pay for what you consume. ये खैरात नहीं है कि this is not like you're entitled to free electricity all your life, right?
But how do you change that when everyone is stealing and getting it for free? How do you actually set a mechanism that they can't steal anymore? And the entire city, you're not talking about one specific little thing.
It was not the entire city, it was bulk of the city, it was bulk of the industry, which was the big consumers, and bulk of industrialists who were big consumers of powers at home.
Okay.
Right? And there were touts who would go around. So we had a situation where a tout came in, met my wife, and said, "आपके 80,000 रुपए की बिजली की बिल आती है. I'll make it 5,000 rupees. My cut will be 20,000." And he had certain officials of my company on his payroll. So it was quite
Big.
like it was a horrendous setup.
It was an organized.
It was
crime.
organized, complete. And then you said you can't go and, if you're going on inspections, you can't go in this area because यहाँ पे a certain community lives and you cannot touch them. And so you had to deal with all kinds of issues, and it's taken several years.
Would goons disturb you? Because I'm assuming if there's an organized crime, there'll be thousands of people on payroll and there'll be goons.
वो सब था. But so now I realize what my father meant when he said it's a stupid decision. But I'm very happy that I'm in the power business. I'm actually happy that I took the call when I did. And I'm happy that I've been able to make this change.
Yeah.
Because it leaves me with some sense of satisfaction that there was a change that one was able to do.
What was the first change you made now that you saw company in losses, broken network, broken connections, broken distribution, the entire city stealing from you, industrialists are against you, there are goons disturbing you. There's so many things to fix. Where did you start fixing? Like, what was the first step? First thing that you were like, okay, let me fix this, and then the next problem.
The first thing was really to actually try and get people within my company to believe that this can be changed, rather than believe ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता है तो चलने दो. So it was to instill that confidence that this is doable.
That the stealing would stop.
And the stealing could stop. So
it was not certainty, it was always probability.
It was a probability, because how do you know when it's been institutionalized and the government is as much part of it as industry is, as consumers are?
Okay.
So you're fighting multiple battles for each connection. It was arduous, it was time consuming, it was painstaking, but yes, we've got there.
But what did you see in a broken business? This company was broken, right? And from an outsider's perspective, let's say first you thought that, okay, you want to be a part of providing power and you want to be in this business, right? But once you're in the process of maybe making a bid, acquiring, you're understanding and you're doing due diligence in your own sense, right? So you are getting aware about these problems, that there will be, the community will be against us, employees will be against us, there's a lot of bribery going on, there's a lot of poor connections, everything's going on. So you understand all of these problems. It's a broken company with broken concept and nobody believes, so broken belief as well. Now what are you seeing in the business? Why do you want it?
So there was no due diligence in those days.
Okay.
There was no due diligence. So
how did you decide to buy a business and then just
it just seemed like a decent opportunity.
and just buy?
Right. 10 crore rupees mein mil raha tha. So it wasn't like some exorbitant sum. So
Yeah.
my approach was ki at worst doing it 10 crore
crore
rupees, you know. That was the approach. So that was the confidence ki risk le lo. It's the family won't sink because of this.
How much revenue does it do today?
The power business, well, it has a fair bit.
What is it? What's the? It's
About,
public, right? So
yeah, I mean, our assets there are about 40,000 crores, and we are in the process of building, investing, investments underway are about 54,000 crores in that business.
10 crore.
10 crore.
That's 10 crores to 40,000 crore.
Yeah.
I should look for businesses which are like completely broken right now. कि जाएगा तो 10 crore ही जाएगा. No, but you know, fun apart, it was, there must be something fundamental you must have changed. It's not easy to turn around and transform a 10 crore business into, with so many problems.
No, but it's also about changing the culture. A culture of suspicion to a culture of confidence and a sense of pride in doing something that nobody thought was doable. And once we got that sense of pride within the organization, then it became much easier.
How do you do that? How do you
It was about constantly communicating within the team. कि आपको आशीर्वाद मिलेगा, आप करो.
making them believe?
Making them believe that it's in addition to doing work, in addition to getting recognition, they will get blessings.
And that worked for you.
That worked.
There was I was reading that your friends used to joke about it every time there was a light off, power cut.
Absolutely.
They used to be like, you're the one responsible for it.
So I remember there was this restaurant called Polynesia in the Oberoi Hotel. And we had gone there for somebody's birthday celebration.
Okay.
उस जमाने में रेस्टोरेंट्स भी नहीं होते थे, लिमिटेड थे, और इतनी छूट भी हमें नहीं थी कि we could go to restaurants often.
Okay.
So whenever you went, it was a big thing. बिजली चली गई. ओबेरॉय ग्रैंड होटल की उस टाइम जनरेटर खराब हो गई. पावर कट था. The whole restaurant was saying, here's the man who's responsible for the power cuts. आपके कारण हमारी ये दुर्दशा है. And that day I felt like sort of saying, I wish I'd listened to Dad.
How embarrassed were you?
I was embarrassed and I was irritated because I said, damn it. By that time, from 14 hours, you had already gone to about 6 hours. You were not 0, but you'd gone to 6 hours. So it was an improved situation. Appreciate the improvement instead of finding fault.
But did you have a bad day that night? Or you were like, I'll show them one day?
No, it was neither. It was actually a sense of the wrong decision tha. Did I make a wrong decision?
Regret.
Yeah. Is it worth this kind of misaffection?
Did you ever feel that you're in a thankless business?
Yes. I mean, now you realize a utility is a thankless business. A utility means you're there to give service. the fact that you're giving very good service doesn't count for anything, because over a period of 3 months, it gets taken for granted. And then if you have one glitch, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
So it keeps us on our toes.
Because nobody will appreciate you for 364 days of electricity. One day, if we don't get electricity, 1 hour.
5 minutes.
Yeah. And I was like, in 2026, how can you lose electricity?
But I think the city is thankfully very appreciative of what has happened here. And
in hindsight, yes.
yeah, but we do get, there are some naysayers, but by and large, we get a lot of affection and love from the city.
For transforming this piece.
Yeah.
Tell me, for a layman, let's say if someone's watching it, what happens behind the scene? Let's say if I switch on a light right now, right, and automatically the lights are on. What is going behind? Where is the electricity born? How is it reaching me? What are the phases in between? Like,
so you have a transfer. So first you generate power.
okay, where is it generated?
So we have our own power generating stations. You generate the power.
Okay.
Then you take the power.
And that gets generated through thermal or solar or
So
anything.
it's largely, for the city, it's yet largely thermal. It's going to be, over the next 2 to 3 years, 50% will become renewable.
Okay.
But you generate from wherever. Then you transport the power.
Okay.
Call it wheel.
Some vehicle.
Yeah. So you have wires. You have to lay the wires. Then you have transformers, and you have substations which modulate the frequency of the power. And from there it goes on to individual, then again you have connections into individual homes. And then it goes through that. And then you have a meter which measures the amount of power you're consuming or drawing.
And how much of this entire chain comes from your company?
Here in Calcutta, everything.
Everything. From that till the last switch. Like every transformer,
Everything. So when we took over, we didn't have substations. We didn't have a full network which was efficient. We didn't have transformers which were efficient. So it was a whole system that needed refixing.
What's the most difficult part of it? The generation or the distribution? Or service?
The generation is actually easier, because once your plant is set up, then you only need preventive maintenance and regular maintenance, and then the plant churns out.
Okay.
It's dealing with the consumer that's far more difficult.
And is it like, but dealing with consumer, that's service, right? So every time they'll have billing issues or something like that, those kind of
so
little
you actually have to keep constantly communicating, educating, so we had a similar experience in Greater Noida, where when we took over the distribution, we didn't realize we were getting into situations where gundas were involved. And so people came and took chairs and banged them over the heads of our people. So it was quite horrific.
Recent, like you're talking?
No, this was several years ago when we took over that. Today, it's a very highly successful company. And in the UP Assembly, it's been hailed out as an extraordinary example of privatization.
So you were telling me, so people were hitting, and then?
And नहीं, हम मीटर नहीं लगाने देंगे, हम आपको पैसे नहीं देंगे. And so again, it was a repeat. But once you've gone through one, it's easier to go through the next. But it's a process. And from 30, 40 years ago to now, it's become much easier because people are more exposed, educated. They frankly want a service, and 90% of the people are willing to pay for the
service,
for the consumption, right? So it's that mindset has changed.
Fair. And what is about rains that we somehow still lose electricity during the rains? Like something goes off, something specifically which is hard about the business in rains, it doesn't work out.
In the cities where we distribute, that doesn't happen.
That okay. But in usual cities, you'll always hear, like, I'm from Indore, right? So there's 24/7, 365 days, there is power. If ever, sometime there's a power cut, it's usually midnight during the rains, something has happened. And people usually blame it that, oh, because the weather was bad, isliye ho gaya.
I don't think weather has anything to do with that.
Okay. It's just an excuse. So if a city loses power, okay, now that the distribution is right, generation is right, servicing is right, your systems in place, still there must be some black swan event where city loses power.
You can have, say if you have a huge cyclone, then you can have a situation which we've had in Calcutta, where trees get uprooted and they fall on power lines. So then the lines snap.
Okay.
So there have been those situations. We had Amphan, which was one of the biggest cyclones that India has seen. And the Calcutta Municipal Corporation did not have electric saws. So you could not cut the trees. Over 200 trees, which were like 70, 80, 100 years old, had fallen. Because the government had built, instead of the mud and everything that the tree grew on, they had built roads and pavements. So as it is, the roots had become shaky. They had cut off the roots.
Yeah.
So the moment वो हवा का झोंका आया, वो पेड़ गिर गया.
Yeah.
And they fell on lines. Now you have to cut the trees, but the Calcutta Municipal Corporation did not have electric saws. So then again, the angst came on us. कि आपके पास saws नहीं, आपकी जिम्मेवारी है. We are not the civic authority, right? We had a few electric saws, but so these are the situations where you can have किसी के, if you're consuming your transformer, you asked for X kilowatts of power.
Yeah.
And without intimation, you're actually drawing 2x or 3x. Up to a point, the transformer has the ability to give you extra power.
Yeah.
Beyond that, the transformer bursts. So, people have asked for, they've said we've got 8 ACs, but they've actually installed 18. So the transformer will not function.
Yeah.
It'll either burst or just stop functioning.
Yeah.
And in which case, then you have a power cut. And it's one transformer is not serving just one supply. It's serving a whole area. So then the power goes off everywhere.
So one person or like 5 people's extra
Can be responsible for something like this.
So the weakest link in the entire power cut situation, apart from natural calamities, is the overconsumption.
It's the overconsumption without...
Or is it like some part or something in transformer, some loose thing which keeps...
See, the technology has advanced so much that it's very rare for the machine to fail.
Okay. So it's overconsumption.
It's overconsumption.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I always thought that there is some loose connection which goes wrong in transformer. That's why the transformer bursts. And then we face all of these problems. So us is the problem. We've had one power cut in our office once, and we had to change that office because then we later realized that it was the overconsumption problem. And we had to, because our podcast was supposed to go live at 9:09 as scheduled. About 7 p.m, the whole office is off.
Oof.
Just gone.
But Bombay mein to hota nahi hai.
Nahi hota. That's what, for us, it was first. And then now we are calling, they're like, nahi, kal hi fix hoga. So now there were like 7-8 team members. I was not even there in India and I didn't even know this is happening, okay? They didn't even tell me. There were like 4 or 5 of these, like my team members. They picked up a system. They sat on someone's bike, went to someone's house, connected the system there and uploaded the whole podcast.
But you can do it. But frankly, that is an illegal connection.
What?
Going to someone's house and you've done it for a particular period, that's fine.
Just for that uploading
Just for
and then
that,
coming back. Yeah.
That's fine. But this is the kind of thing that people do all the time.
Meaning?
They hook onto somebody else's supply.
But we too went inside the house and can use the
That's
system.
why
No?
now
We are not hooking.
close to 80% of our supply is underground. So you can't do all that.
No, I didn't hook.
But you actually connected to someone else's
So,
supply.
like we went to the house and then inside house we started a system and did it.
But if you have something like this, what option do you have?
Exactly.
इसी को तो जुगाड़ बोलते हैं.
That just जुगाड़ work हुआ. And we the moment we got to know in our head, the first 15 minutes I must have cursed everybody in the electricity board because that's the natural reaction.
It's a very
like we
natural
are in
thing.
2025. This is 25, not. It was last year. I think 2025, this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching this episode till the end. We would love to know what you liked or disliked about this episode and which guest you would like to see again on this show, or which are the new guests that you want to see. Let us know in the comments. Your feedback helps us improve and make every episode a little better. I'll see you the next time. Until then, keep figuring out.